If you're a CISO like me, you probably had the same experience as I did last week. I was asked to present to an executive meeting my review of an AI project that we are going live with in a couple of weeks. And I had prepared the whole day for it. I went through the deck, made sure everything was on the money. And as I was presenting, I was using words like prompt injection, LLM hacking, and so on and on. And I started seeing all these blank stares at me from people around the table. And I was like, oh, wait, they don't understand any of this. But I tried simplifying it as much as I could and managed to scrape through the meeting. But towards the end, the CTO took me aside and kind of said, hey man, really appreciated what you said, but next time can we go a bit less technical so everyone understands what you're talking about? And that hit me like, oh my God. As a CISO, we focus so much on threats and what it could mean in terms of disaster, risk associated with it. But on the flip side, I didn't want to make it sound so simple that I don't need any budget or I don't need to hire anyone new for this. So finding the balance is an art. And hopefully what I learned from these meetings and how I improved on them would help you explain the AI risk as well to your C-levels without the fear-mongering that we've been taught all these years. The first one is communication gap. As CISOs, as I mentioned, we love talking about threats and the risk it may associate with. But the C-level, on the other hand, care about customer acquisition, compliance, how's the business doing, how's the finance doing. They're after more business impact than the threats that could potentially happen from an AI risk. So translating the top three things that most CISOs care about from an AI perspective, which is data leakage, that potentially our secret data or our intellectual property would be leaked onto a LLM. So instead of saying prompt injection, I could have just said, hey, what if someone asks for the salary of Ashish, the CEO of the company, and it's provided when it should not have been given in the first place? Having some guardrails around it so it does not give out information that is sensitive in nature would have been a better way to explain prompt injection without using the word prompt injection. The second thing that most CISOs worried about is AI misuse or manipulation. Things like having a standard large language model that we trust and have a formal agreement with would allow us to make sure that legally and kind of compliance level we are maintaining our regulatory standard and compliance to our customers and to the regulatory bodies. This allows us to continue building on the trust that we have maintained for so many years. So having a standardized way to approach what LLM models, how they should be used, what's the standard operating procedure for using AI models in the organization would go a great way to continue building on that trust that we have created with our customers and the regulatory body for all these years. So we continue to get more customers who sign up with us because they trust that we are doing the security for AI correctly. So in the meeting, instead of saying data leakage, data lineage, and all these fancy data terms, I could have simply mentioned the fact that we would not want our data to be in the wrong model, especially if it's not within the compliance standards that we have maintained for all these years. And you can throw examples like DeepSeek, which is owned by a Chinese company, which may not be compliant to a lot of regulatory standards. That could have been a better way to explain that without going into the data security jargons. Now, third, decision integrity. Making decisions is what you would use AI for, and a lot of that is driven by the data that fuels your data innovation. If you were to give it bad data, it's going to make bad decisions for you. It may even have a bias if your data already had a bias in it as well. Now, instead of calling this as a technical word of data poisoning, I could have just simply said, making systematic calls at large scale from a data that has potentially been corrupted could have large impact on the business outcomes, which means we may have legal challenges, compliance challenges, which may put us at legal risk. We should have a steering committee around AI for this, with people from legal and other parts of the organization to maintain the right level of risk is exposed with the AI adoption that we do in the organization. I'll give you one more because I'm really feeling good today. Instead of saying sandboxing AI agents, you could also say we need boundaries around the AI systems we produce so that we make sure that the AI systems do not access data that they're not supposed to, which may bring us in the water of making bad decisions because it's using bad data, or even worse, it may lead to the risk of us making bad decisions at scale, which is a risk we do not want as an organization. Now, how do you make sure for future messaging as well, the CISO is looked at as someone who is not thinking of saying no as the first answer every AI request that comes in? Simple answer to that would be, don't lead with restrictions, lead with responsibility. We're not here to slow down AI, we're just here to make sure sure it scales safely, because all the trust that we have built with our customers for all these years, we don't want that to be questioned at any given point in time because of an AI risk we exposed. Now, that wasn't that bad either, right? Now, if you want to go fancy and give 4-step framework to your organization as well, you can talk about things like visibility, having the right kind of visibility to the AI that is being used and the standard that's being built around it, boundaries that are going to be put around AI LLM models so they do not access data that they should not be allowed access to in the first place, monitoring, catching any drift, whether it's drift from a compliance standard or a posture that you want to maintain for the AI systems that you're running in your organization. Finally, fourth, the response. Once you have identified there is an incident, having a playbook that you can use to respond to that AI incident fairly quickly would be the fourth thing you'll use as a framework. So visibility, boundaries, monitoring, and responses. 4-step framework for you to explain to your C-level that you're not here to say no, because our job is not to scare the C-level into not using AI, but driving innovation. And to bring this home, I have an analogy. Did you know that the brakes in your car are actually to make the car go faster, not to slow it down? But most people think the brakes are just to slow the car down, which is not true. And the same applies to security. Security are the brakes in that context, and the car is the enterprise you're working with. Security is supposed to help the car go faster, the business go faster with AI without having to say no every single time. Now, hopefully the framework and the translation that I gave for some of the technical words into something more simpler and understandable from a business impact perspective are helpful for your next meeting when you go and explain what AI risks are going to be. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, and if you want more content on practical implementations of AI, agentic AI, and security for it, definitely hit the subscribe button. Leave in the comment what was your favorite translation, or if you have a better one, I would love to hear that in the comment, and I'll see you next video. Peace.